And see, here's the thing that people have to understand about real estate. Everybody's like, oh, I want to get in the business. I want to do this. The thing is, I was so busy working. I wasn't a mom to my son, but I was making my money. I was making my paper. So I think that was one of the first year I was just a grinder. And a grinder meant that I was holding open houses. And not only was I holding open houses, see, most agents, when they hold an open house, honey, all they do is they hold an open house and they stay in there. I was finding every listing in my area. And that way, if you came in and you said this house didn't work for you, I was telling you about the other places. And that's how I started selling quickly, because I was on a mission to determine that I would never go back, because so I always wanted to make my own, pave my own way.
You are listening to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast with host Kevin Jefferson. This is the #1 podcast for African American real estate professionals who are doing extraordinary things. It's time to tune in. And now, your host, the People's Lender, Kevin Jefferson.
Welcome to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson, and today we have a special guest all the way from Dallas, Texas. Good morning, Himiko.
Yes, good morning, superstar. How are you?
All right. We've got a lot of unpack in this episode, but tell us a little bit who you are for those who don't know you.
My name's Himiko Sadiki. I'm an author. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a mother. I am an inspirer of the world to the people that just, want growth and want change. And we do it through entrepreneurship, through financial literacy, whatever it is. That's who I am.
That's
I'm
awesome.
A server of the people. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what got you into real estate?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I got into real estate 16 years ago because I was involved in a real estate transaction where I wanted to start investing. But when you don't know what you don't know, you tend to lean towards people that look like you. And so I wanted to buy my first investment property, and it happened to be out of Atlanta, where they would send us a list of all these, basically a list of properties we could buy as investors out of California. Everybody think because you're from California, you got a boatload of money. That's just the way it is. I don't know. So anyway, I got one of the properties, and we were upside down by $100,000. I didn't know this until after the contract was closed. I flew into Atlanta. It was me and my sister. I fly in, and I see billboard, and on the billboard it said homes for $250,275. Well, I paid $375. So how is that possible? Meek, I'm gonna pull over. I see somebody mowing their grass, and I said, "Could you tell me what the prices are?" And he told me that there was a property with the lake in the back. It was $250,000. Remember, I paid $375 for my property. And at that point, I had contacted the police department, and they said they couldn't do anything about it. So then they referred me over to the FBI, and I found out that I was one of 25. And at that point, I became a crusader for the people, because we do not know. And when I say people, I'm talking about everybody. I don't care what color you are, skin you are. I'm talking about people that want to get into real estate. We don't know what we don't know. And people that we trust with our financials, their concern is their own pocketbook, not ours. So that's how I got into real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why Atlanta?
Because it was cheap in comparison to California. So $375 for a duplex was like, oh, that's good. So, I thought it was $275 sounded a whole lot better though. But anyway, that's why it was the price point.
Got you. So What were you doing prior to this real estate venture that you started?
Honey, I was a security guard receptionist. I was, working for, at that point, I was working for Comcast, and I was doing sales, door for MDUs, which is multifamily units. So I was outside sales. And then before I started at the security guard receptionist and then worked my way to that.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you looking to buy an investment property in Atlanta. The deal didn't go as expected. How soon did you start to get your license?
As soon as I got off the phone. Well, if you've been following me for a while or anything like that, when I say this is what it is, the very next day after I got off the phone with the FBI, I started working on my real estate license.
Okay.
Yeah.
And once you got your real estate license, what did you find out about being an agent as opposed to investing?
honestly, when I first started studying, I realized that I didn't know anything about real estate. And I'm talking down to the basics of needing to know about loans, how loans are structured. I realized I didn't know anything about, I just didn't know the basics of real estate at all. And when we jump into investing, we're looking for the cash flow, but not wondering what the details are. So I realized that I needed to back up, slow down, and get the details so that I can make better decisions. So being a real estate agent taught me that the details are more important than the transaction. Like, what's the numbers really look like?
Got you. So do you think that having a real estate license is essential to being an investor?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's more advantageous for you to not have a real estate license because you're not held to the same standards as a real estate agent, right? And you can make more moves than I can as an agent because I'm held to a higher standard. So I have to be a little bit more mindful. So no, you don't need a license at all. Matter of fact, there are a ton of people out there like killing it in the real estate game that are not licensed and just really making good moves. I met one in the barbershop when I got here to Texas, honey.
Are you in what part of Dallas are you in? Are you in Dallas, or are you in the outskirts?
So I moved 14 days ago because God told me to move to Dallas. So I don't know why I'm here yet. I don't have my license yet. And I'm grinding to get my license. So I've been here for 14 days and I'm on the outskirts of Dallas in a city called Frisco.
Frisco. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So you've got your license. You passed your test. You've got your license. What was the next step in California? What was the next step?
So the next step after I got my license was, so this is going to be a little tea for the business. Okay. I was married and I wanted to move on from that relationship. And so I had $25,000 in debt. So I set a time limit for me of 6 months, pay that off, make the money I needed to make so I'd never go back. Because a lot of times we don't leave relationships that are not healthy for us because financial reasons. I didn't want that to be my thing. So I got my license in October. I hit the ground running in January. And when I say hit the ground running, I was making phone calls to everybody that I knew. I started doing loans so that I could understand loans and real estate at the same time. And so I was refinancing people's homes and then turning them into real estate clients. And in 6 months, I earned $100,000 and I got about that relationship. And I told him, you can have the house, the money, everything. I'll take my clothes and I'll start all over again.
Wow. What year was this?
2006.
2006.
I was like,
2006.
Yeah.
What?
It was 2005 going into 2006.
Okay, cool. Once you've dissolved from that relationship and now you know what to do in the real estate space, how was your year in 2006 once you completed, your goals?
I did 200,000 in my first year of real estate.
How?
I was grinding it. And see, here's the thing that people have to understand about real estate. Everybody's like, oh, I want to get in the business. I want to do this. The thing is, I was so busy working. I wasn't a mom to my son, but I was making my money. I was making my paper. So I think that was one of the first year I was just a grinder. And a grinder meant that I was holding open houses. And not only was I holding open houses, see, most agents, when they hold an open house, honey, all they do is they hold an open house and they stay in there. I was finding every listing in my area. And that way, if you came in and you said this house didn't work for you, I was telling you about the other places. And that's how I started selling quickly because I was on a mission to determine that I would never go back because so I always wanted to pave my own way.
Wow. I've never heard that strategy before.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. So that's pretty much how you were able to continue to grow your business by building those relationships in the open houses.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, even though I was new to the business, people trusted me right away, even though I still didn't have the experience. And let me tell you where I got my experience from, because this is important. As agents, we get intimidated when we first start that we don't know what to do, right? It was when the agents would send me back my contract and tell me, oh, you missed this or you missed that I was embarrassed, but I turned it into my learning. They were my teachers, but they didn't know. So I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I missed that. But they didn't know. I was like, okay, well, won't do that again. So it was my learning ground was actually being in the trenches.
Wow. Do you think your experience in the door-to-door sales for Comcast or Xfinity helped you with the ability to sell?
No, I think what helped me with my ability to sell is feeling insecure as a person that I would never be enough. And so I had made the decision to start speaking life into myself.
Interesting. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
When I was growing up, I was told my stepfather, that I was dumb, that I was stupid, that I would never be anything in life. And as a child growing up, getting that put into you at a young age, you become insecure about who you are. And then you start looking outside of yourself at other people and you think, wow, he's beautiful or she's beautiful or her body's banging or she's smarter than me. And you start thinking yourself. And so you start to become feeling of no value, of no importance. So for me, I had to start speaking life into my own self because I had never seen it done before. But I just started telling myself, you are powerful, you are important, you are loved, you're the master of your mind, you are the creator of your fate. And that is what drove me, drove me basically. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I didn't want to feel like that or about myself,
So it sounds like you understood that you needed to have a certain mindset to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. I've got a lot going on up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If and I know it's been a while, but I know you're a coach. If I'm a new agent, just getting to the business, what are 2 things that you think are essential to doing to start on the right track in terms of your foundation?
I think that's a fantastic question to ask me right now. And the reason for that is, although I'm licensed in the state of California, I am physically in the state of Texas. So I have to re-get licensed and start my business all over from scratch here. Nobody knows me, none of that stuff. I don't have the same resources. So I have to start in a whole new way. So I'm getting my license right now. And for any agent coming in new, I'm going to be building my team out as well. But anyone coming in new, when you start this business, align yourself, keyword, align yourself with already successful agents in the business. Now, I am aligning myself onto a team here that is going to give me, I'm going to be working on their YouTube channel with them and creating content. And then they already have leads because they're already successful here. So they're going to pass me down some leads. I'm going to hit those and create relationships. So the first thing you would do is align yourself. Don't worry about the money like, oh, I'm going to make half of what I would normally make. You got to learn the business. And once you learn the foundation in the business, then you can go on your own and go do what you're going to do. So even me as a veteran, I'm aligning myself with others as well so that I can hit the ground running here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the transition to Texas and not knowing anyone, I know God sent you, right?
Yes, he did.
He sent you. You've been there 14 days.
Yeah.
From the time that he dropped that into your spirit to now, have you formulated a game plan or did you just move?
So before I got here, that's an excellent question. So I came out in July. In September, I put my house on the market and I was like, Lord, if this is really what you want me to do, and I gave him a crazy number, sell it for this price. Well, the comps didn't work for that, but he sold it at that price. And I was like, okay, you really want me to go. And at that point, that was in September, I flew out here one more time and I had a follower, the guys that were on YouTube, I was following, I contacted them and I sat a meeting with them and aligned myself with them. So before I got out here in October, I was already knowing that I was going to go on that team. But it's 180 hours that they require in the state of Texas to get your license. So I am committed. They 6 tests before you can take the state exam, before they allow you to do it. So I'm committed to finishing that in the month of November. So I came out here with a game plan that by 2022, it's going to be a whole nother ball game.
180 hours?
Yeah. I've already taken, it requires 6 exams. I've already passed 3. I have another one today, and then I'll have 2 left after that. And I've been here for 14 days.
Grind mode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grind mode.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you had a success? Your first year, you sold $200,000 in real estate, which is amazing. Like
commissions, that's take home.
Take home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How was 2007?
True. 2007 was rocky. Well, no, let me take back. 2008 was rocky. 2007 was still good. The market started to really tank in 2008. So it was that end of 2007 going in 2008. That's when things got a little shaky because that was when the market started to shift. And the key, oh, honey, I'm going to go back to this question you asked. As a real estate agent starting in the game, get you an S corporation to help you bypass some of those taxes that you pay. So S corporation, that's what I did not do. So I was paying high taxes because I was not set up as an S corp. And then I started paying myself payroll. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So 2007 was a decent year?
2007 was a decent year. I was averaging, I think, between 15 to 30,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
2008 hits. What happens?
Ooh, 2008 hit. And I was like, at that point, when you first get in this business and heavy money hits your bank account like that, you're not used to it. You just like, I was like American Express, and I was everywhere you wanted to be, honey. I was in LA, Vegas, Miami, rolling in Bentleys, doing all that stuff. And I went belly up, bankrupt, because the market tanks. People aren't buying houses. They're starting to short sell, foreclose. And I wasn't prepared as an agent because I didn't know what I didn't know. Set yourself as an S corp, take a paycheck every single month, manage your money through the high and the low of the seasons. Now, I've been in business long enough to see several cycles. So now I know that. So when the market tanked, honey, I was in the food stamp line. That's what happened.
Wow. How long were you there?
Where, in the food stamp line?
Yes, ma'am.
6 months.
6 months.
And I was out. Yeah.
What was able to help you get out of the food stamp line?
Being humble, meaning when you have money like that and you're out there just able to spend and do what you want to do, you're not as humble as you are. Standing in that food stamp line as a real estate agent, and now also having to move back home to my mom's house to find stability, that humility changed the game for me, and especially how I do my finances. Within 3 years, I was back on top with my finances, my credit, all of that stuff. And that's because I took it as a learning lesson for myself. I didn't go, woe is me. I was mad at myself. I was really, if you ever read my book, I call myself the irritated bitch, but I was that at the time. I don't do broke well. But it was my training ground of learning to be financially responsible with my money.
So, okay, 2008 hits, you're in the food stamp line. The market is rough for everybody, right?
Everybody, yeah.
What made you continue with real estate though? Because there was a lot of people who got out.
There was a lot of people that got out. To be honest with you, I didn't go to college. I went for maybe a year, but I knew college wasn't for me. And I knew after I had gotten fired from Comcast that I never wanted to work for anyone again. And I didn't want to depend on anyone else. But I also knew that I just had to keep grinding it out. So I don't know failure. All it is, it becomes a training for me. Like, okay, this happens. Now that I know that there's cycles in real estate, all it did was sharpen me and put me in preparation mode for what was to come, because I knew the season was going to change. I just needed to keep going.
So when you got out of your jam from the 2008 Great Recession, what year was it that you started to get your stride again? Honestly,
probably in 2011.
Okay.
So 2010, we owned a home. I was starting to get out of that grind, but really out of it, probably 2011.
What changed? Because the market was still the same at that time. What changed for you?
What changed for me? It's more on a personal side.
Okay.
More on a personal side. So what changed for me is knowing that I was getting ready to, I was married at the time, so things were getting quite rocky. And for me, I realized and I have learned that I am my own safety net. And when I know that I'm my own safety net, I get into grind mode. So what changed for me is just putting myself in that mindset of like, only person that's gonna take care of you is you. That's it.
So 2011, same market, it's rocky relationship and grind mode. What I want to know, what's that look like? Like, were you more of a listing agent, buyer's agent, combination of both? Like, what did it look like, getting out of that hole?
So what it looked like, honestly, is open houses normally are from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I would show up at 11 o'clock in the morning. My signs would be out from the night before. I put them out on Friday, and I lived in Mountain House. So I would sign up on Friday night and leave my signs till Sunday, and I would be at open houses at 11 a.m. because the other realtors didn't come in until 1 o'clock, and then they get in their houses. By that point, I would capture, now this is a new development. So this is a tip for those buyers that are agents that are coming in. So I would set up shop. I'd be in there at 11 a.m. And in my community, honey, people are driving around at that early in the morning. So they come and see if there's anybody there. And I was there. And because there was a lot of builders there, I knew all of the builders. So I would take them from that open house. I'd leave and I would introduce them to all the new builds and I would sign them in. And then I would capture that sale. And that's how I was grinding. And then I take my butt back to the open house. Next person come in, this house don't work for you, no problem. Let me show you the new builds in the neighborhood. And that's what I was doing.
Miko, you think different. Where does that come from? I mean, like, did you have a coach or a mentor at the time?
No. I don't know where that came from. That just, when you know that you're your only safety net, you become creative. It's just like E.T. said, he was talking about not having no air. If you don't have no air, you ain't thinking about money, you're thinking about air. When you don't have no money, you're not thinking about, trips that you can take, you're thinking about money. So for me, I was in the mindset and in the place of I need to have money to provide stability and consistency for my children. So all I was thinking about was what I needed to do to make sure that they were provided for, because I never wanted to stand in the food stamp line. Now, not that it was a problem, but it taught me, it just taught me. So that's what happened is, when you don't have air, all you can think about is air. And at that time, I didn't have any money. So all I could think about was making sure my bills were paid.
Wow. How long did you run the open house play?
Oh, I still do that to this day.
16, 7 years later? No, 10 years later.
Yeah, I absolutely still do that to this day, because that is the easiest way to capture new clients and build trust with them right away.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So is that your niche?
Is that my niche? I don't know. I don't know if that's my niche, but that's what I do. And then I teach. I think the biggest thing, people are so busy chasing money. Don't chase money. Teach and the money will follow. So what I love to do is to share and to teach what I've learned along the way. And through that, people get a chance to see my heart for what I do and for people. And that is what creates my business, not just me going out and grinding every day, but people really seeing that I genuinely have a concern for their financial well-being.
Wow. So is that one of your game plans to do the open houses in Texas as well?
No, honestly, I want to build a team and I want to teach. I want to help other people become millionaires. That's my game plan.
Got you.
Yeah.
So
as a single mom, a lot of times we feel like we can't do anything. We don't have any help and we don't have any support. So I want to come to Texas, get my license, hit the ground running, because I still have to provide for my kids. But I also want to serve in the capacity of helping others build their own businesses so that they can be successful, and then that money will follow. But my concern is just making sure that other single moms, single dads know that, hey, you could get in this business either as a real estate agent or as an investor and make it happen for you.
Wow. Shoot, that's amazing. What made you begin to doing the teaching aspect in terms of you do it heavy on? That's how I came in contact with your social media. I think you had a ball cap on. You were sitting there. I think you had a whiteboard behind you like you do now, and you were just going at it on Instagram Live. And then I think you was on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
So what got you into teaching? Because you don't have a teaching background.
I don't. So what happened? Well, now that's not so true because I used to teach kickboxing, cycling, and step aerobics. So
Okay.
that's where my training, my first teaching came from. However, to answer your question, I had gotten divorced and it was in 2014. And I was at the emotionally low at that time. And I had a lot of people asking me about how do you buy a house? How do you do this? And how do you do that? And so I just turned on my camera one day and I just started talking. And that video, I think 200 people had saw the video. And I was like, they really want to listen to me? And that was really kind of how it started. And then so every day I started doing these where I was teaching on the whiteboard about what to do. And then the next thing I started doing was teaching about Transformation Tuesdays, where I used to be a raw foodist. And then I started sharing every Tuesday something that I had learned while I was a raw foodist. And that's kind of how everything started going for me in social media and started teaching.
So what's a raw foodist?
Ooh, is a raw foodist? It's a person that basically we don't eat cooked food. Well, I'm not raw right now, honey, because I'm a little too thick to be raw. But I'm not raw right now. Raw is when you're eating basically everything plant-based and it's not cooked under over 115 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're using like dehydrators, making your own almond milk, going out in the backyard, tending to a garden, and just it was a lot.
Gotcha. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So we're 2014. You've divorced. You and your kids have moved on. How was business at that point?
In 2014, how was business in 2014? That's a good question. God, things changed so much since then. Business was okay. I never worried about money. It just seemed to happen, or deals and transactions. They just seemed to happen when I started teaching. I honestly can't remember. It's kind of a blur to me. I just remember that was when I started teaching.
Gotcha. When did you see your big shift that propelled you to who you are today in terms of the real estate side?
When did I see? Ask the question one more time. When did I see the big shift? The
big shift, like you really hit your stride to where you were producing even more. You started, I know in 2014, you started teaching and now you're coaching and looking to build a team. What was it that helped you get to that point?
Honestly, social media. When I started teaching online and people started to respond, because I remember one time I had stood in front of a group of people and I was speaking, and the person I was with at the time told me, "You're not a good speaker." So it made me feel like, oh my God, I can't really teach. So when I actually started getting on social media and I started sharing and teaching and simplifying and breaking down real estate into simple terms, because real estate agents, mortgage people, they speak in such high level terms that the average person can't understand it. So when I started sharing my content and breaking down things into its simple form that we can all understand and people being receptive to it, that's when I began to hit my stride. And I realized that God's purpose with my life was to teach, not to chase anything, but to teach.
Wow. So with all of that, like you've been able to accomplish a lot. You know, what stood out to me was selling $145 million in real estate, which is
that was at the time that we wrote that. It's more than that now.
It's more than that now. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's amazing. Yeah. My platform is to highlight people that look like you and I.
Yeah.
There's a lack of diversity in our industry. There is, and then amongst the diversity, the success level.
Mm-hmm.
You've done it at a high level. I don't care if we've talked to the new person. What about the agent who's been in the business 5 to 10 years and haven't seen a level of success? What are some things you would advise them to do to get over that hump?
Stop chasing money. Stop chasing money. Because agents that have been in the business 5 or 6 years and haven't found success in the business, they're in the business because they're looking for a paycheck. When you get in the business, you need to be looking to serve. What family can I help to serve? And then what they don't know are the details. Learn the loans and understand the different types of loans. Become a resource for your clients. If all you know is real estate, you're not a resource. When you become a resource and basically build your relationships with your lenders, build your relationships with the new home construction builders. When you become a resource to people, people come to look for you. But if you're chasing money, that's exactly why you're not finding success. It's because your focus is money, not people, and not being a resource. Secondly, align yourself. If it ain't happening for you, align yourself with a team that's making it happen, because that means that you need to understand the foundation. Get a TC and get an assistant. I'm going to tell you right now, that's the most important.
What's a TC?
A transaction coordinator, someone that I don't handle paper. I put you in contract. I'll flip your house for you, meaning that I'll bring my team in, we'll rehab it, put it on the market for you, and I'll manage the whole project, but I don't do paper. So my transaction coordinator handles all my paper for me.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a full-time staff member, or are they for hire? How's that work?
Funny, I love it because you pay them per transaction. I think it's like $400. Every deal they close, they get $400, comes right out the commission. So we good.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Now your assistants are a little different.
Is your assistant virtual, or are they here in the States?
Oh yeah, they're here in the States. I tried the virtual thing. That did not work for me. I tried one out of the Philippines, and it works for some people. It just didn't work for me. But my assistant is in California, and I am in Texas. And because we have a working relationship, she knows how I function.
Gotcha.
At this point, she's making doctor's appointments and everything else.
I guess so. Doing 180 hours in 14 days. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. So you touched on flipping the property for a client. Do you manage projects for investors?
Not for investors, because I'm an investor myself.
Okay.
However, I have sellers, and there's a perfect example. I put a house on the market. It was 832 North Del Prado. It's on the market right now. Well, it was on the market. I met them right before I left out of California. I was like, oh, we can't put the house on the market like this. This is what we're going to do. And I brought my contractors in. We rehabbed the whole house, baseboards, paint, everything. And I don't charge my clients to do that because they hired me as a resource and as a service for them. So as a full service agent, I just brought my team in. They paid, of course, my clients paid for the rehabbing, and I manage all the contractors for them. We put it on the market 3 weeks later, and I sold it within 3 days. We went on the Friday, we came off market on Sunday.
Wow.
Okay, well over asking. And she was surprised. That's what we do.
Wow. So why don't you charge a client for that?
Why don't I? They're paying me to sell their house at top dollar. And because I already know how to do it, I just don't charge it as a fee. I just do. I'm here to serve. I'm not here to just chase paper all the time.
So, okay. And I ask because most agents would see that as an opportunity to get another slice of the pie.
They do. But my thing is, I'd rather serve and get repeat business than to feel like I nickel and dimed you every step of the way. So if you know how to do it, you don't always have to have your hand out. Do what you know. I'm here to put your house in the market for top dollar, and then hopefully you'll refer someone else to me because the service was just that good.
Gotcha. In the area of California you were in, what was the average home price?
Ooh, 750,000 up. I was in Northern California.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. 1
hour outside of San Francisco.
Gotcha. What is the average? Do you know the average home price in the Frisco, Dallas area?
So I came out here thinking I was going to be in the 500s and buy a house out here. No, Frisco, their base price is 700,000 and up, honestly. And that's because the PGA is moving their golf here. The headquarters is moving here.
Wow.
And then you have the Dallas Cowboys, who are also, their training camp is right here as well.
In Frisco. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow. So where do you see your real estate business going once you've established yourself in Texas? I know you're going to build a team. How does that look? Like, what are your first hires?
So I'm going to a company called EXP. And EXP will allow me to be licensed in the state of Texas and California, but I can build a team in all 50 states. And so my goal is, I have a lot of agents and a lot of people that follow me that want to get into the business, and they've asked me, hey, will you mentor me? this is going to be my opportunity to do just that. So that's what it looks like for me. Once I get licensed, my intention is to have it done by the end of November. And then from there, I'm going to be building a team and helping other people create their own wealth in real estate.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So the team that you joined is a part of EXP?
The team that I'm joining. The funny thing is I was following their YouTube channel to find out and learn about Frisco. So when I contacted them, I had never intended to contact them to get on a team. I just knew that I was no longer going to operate as a solopreneur, as a real estate agent. We just, work for a broker, work for ourselves, and that's it. That as an agent that's been a vet in this business for a long time, I was losing my desire and my passion for it. And that's because for me, it's about teaching now. It's not about being out in the streets and selling real estate all the time. So I have to come from a place of being a worker to a server.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So who were you with prior to EXP?
So I'm still there. It's Next Home Modern Market is who I work for right now. Absolutely love them. They've been great to me. But I'm limited in what I can do. I can only work for their brokerages out of California and work for the brokerage here. That doesn't allow me the opportunity to build out like EXP is going to allow me to do.
Gotcha.
And we get stock with them and medical insurance. I was like, we need all that stuff
As real estate professionals, yes.
Yep. Cryptocurrency, they in the crypto world as well. So yeah, it's about to be on.
Wow. Since you were in California, did you ever do a deal where someone paid for the house with crypto?
I have not done that yet. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a post of an agent here in Metro Atlanta, and the person was short with their finances, and they end up finding out they could pay with crypto, and they had well enough money.
Wow.
Yes.
That's exciting, but no, I haven't done that. I did my first deal with crypto with Shiba Inu or whatever it is. So I do have their stock. I'm invested in Tesla though on the regular stock side, but no, I haven't done anything with the crypto myself, and I haven't seen anyone do crypto yet and pay for a house. So that's really cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think we'll start to see more, especially as it grows. So listen, in terms of us as African Americans and the real estate market, what can we do to ensure that we're connected with each other, as well as the ability for us to grow in the industry? So I'll tell you why I asked that question. I looked at a study it was 2017 data, but it came out in 2018. The average African-American real estate professional was making $24,990 a year from real estate, which was the bottom of the barrel in the real estate fields, right? The average the person that they interviewed had been in the business an average of 8 years. We're better than that, right? We're better than that. But how do we get over that hurdle? Like our numbers are at the bottom of the barrel in terms of real estate transactions, as well as home ownership. What do you think we can do to push this culture and the movement forward? Because we're better than that.
Emmitt Smith, I think, is the number one person you can go look at. Emmitt Smith went to, what's his name? Michael Jordan. And he asked him about real estate, or asked him about advice on business. Did whatever he needed to do and did well in business after that. And he said to Michael Jordan, why didn't we sit down before? And Michael Jordan said, you never asked. So if you want to get where you want to go, you need to get your ego out the way and ask. If you're following people on social media, find people that are actually making money in this business and has a heart for serving. A lot of times we scroll through the internet and we're like, oh God, I want to be like this person or that person. But all they are is Instagram famous or Facebook famous. They're not really in the trenches. Find the ones that are doing the work, has a heart to serve, and start to ask the questions. And stop being afraid to spend some money.
Right.
Stop looking for it to be free to you.
Right. Do you feel that with the level of success you have and people come to you, do you feel like they feel like you're supposed to give them the information and not charge?
Absolutely. People feel like I need to give them the information all the time and not charge them. But what they're not being mindful of or respectful of is the fact that this is 16 years of being in the grind, being in the streets, learning the business. So you're asking me to give you what took me 16 years for free. Now, I'm happy to serve, but if you're going to ask me a 15-second question, cool, I got you. But if you want to spend some time with me, be open and receptive, whether it's me or someone else that this is what they do. Respect them enough to say, hey, how much would you charge me to sit down for your time? And then that person's going to be more open to, and willing, because you're not there just as a taker, but you're there to also say, hey, I respect that this is what you do and your time. Let me pay you for that.
Gotcha. How much do you charge for a session?
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. If it's just a question you have, a lot of people can do like a 15-minute quick meet and greet and you have like a quick question. But if you need my time for 30 minutes or longer, I'm going to charge about $125 an hour.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
What would that session look like?
A lot.
I'm gonna. I book an hour time with you. Let's say it was $150 or whatever, because it was an hour. What would I need to do to prepare for our conversation? Because the hour goes by fast.
It does. You need to prepare every question that you're going to have, as far as from the beginning to the end of whatever transaction you're doing, whatever questions you have answered. I need to know what state you're in. I need to know if you're working with an agent, not working with an agent, what your needs are. So you need to go ahead and come prepare with some questions. And whether it's documentation, sometimes people ask me to review that. Sometimes people come and they ask me, hey, I don't want to use an agent, but I want somebody to write the contract. I've done that as well. So it just depends on what your needs are. Be prepared though.
Gotcha. So your presence on social media, has that, I know that's helped your coaching business and the sessions. Has that helped you business wise in terms of selling more homes and getting more clients?
I think social media is one of the most powerful tools that you can use, because it gives an opportunity for people to see you and create and build relationship and rapport with you. If you see me cold off the street, you don't really know me from Adam. But people that have seen me on social media, they see me in the airport, they see me in restaurants, and they feel like they already know me. So social media allows you the opportunity for people to see who you are and give them a comfort level with you and whether or not they want to do business with you. So yeah. And also be mindful what you're posting now, because some people, they be posting about they drinking and hanging out with their friends. I don't want to do business with that. And then I see people that are real estate agents, and then they do all kinds of stuff on their page as well, meaning like they do cryptocurrency. They're going to teach you that. They're going to do insurance, do everything. Find your niche and stay right there.
Right.
Stay in your lane. Yeah.
Right. So with the level of success you had, and I mean, you're in California, I've never seen a post where you flaunted things that you had, if that makes sense, your lifestyle. What makes you, I mean, a lot of people are attracted to that, and I'm sure you have it, nice house in California, making great money. Why do you do more of the education as opposed to the lifestyle living? Because people seem to be attracted to the lifestyle stuff.
That's a great question. People are attracted to the lifestyle. And to be honest with you, I rather wear a baseball cap and yoga pants all day, every day. I like nice things, but it doesn't have to have a label to it. And after my whole experience of having money, going broke, and humility, money became not important to me. It just became knowing that I have money now, the only thing it does for me, allows my mind to think about other things, being a mother, being a server. Now I'm not thinking about, we talked about air. When you have no air, all you think about is air. When you have no money, all you think about is money. So not flaunting those things on social media is because my focus is on service, not on things.
Gotcha. So continuing hearing you talk, right? Your two biggest things are, my takeaways from this is be a servant. Yep. One. and not chase money, the money will chase you.
Absolutely.
Got you.
Absolutely.
Got you.
And the other thing is making sure that you have the right people around you. And I mean, husbands, wives, when you're in relationship, or that's a partnership, if they're not bringing you, feeding into you, and this comes to family, friends, and that's the other thing I did is I cut out people that didn't breathe life into me where I was breathing life into them. Okay. One of the most dangerous things you can have is people that envy you around you. So you have to pay attention to body language, all of those things when you're trying to elevate yourself. Because once you get where you're trying to go, people want to be and do the things that you want to do. And if they haven't gotten there yet, they're going to look at you with envy. And then they're going to start, some negative backlash and things like that. So making sure that who's in your camp while you're trying to build is important, whether that's real estate, whether it's just cryptocurrency, just know who's in your camp.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you do any personal development?
Me personally,
yes.
Or with people? Me personally, yes.
Yourself, personal development for yourself. Yeah.
Honey, first thing in the morning, I wake up, I thank God every morning. Thank you for this, thank you for that. And then I start with myself, and then I speak life into my children. When we're driving to school, I tell my son, you are powerful, you are a king. I can see better today than I could yesterday. And my daughter, you're a queen, you are a leader. The world is waiting for you. And I feed them the same thing I feed myself. Growing up, I didn't have anyone speaking life into me. I had to learn to do that to myself. So for me, it's about teaching my kids through myself, because at the end of the day, the most thing that we can all be mindful of is our children are watching us and they become who we are. So if your kids are late to school, late to, whatever, or they're not being successful in life, look at who you are as a parent and as a person, and then make your shifts and make your alignment. So I speak life into myself every day, because when I grew up, I didn't have it, and I want my kids to have that.
Got you.
So, but I start with me.
Any books you're reading?
Right now, I'm not reading any books because my focus is on the
real estate. That's what it is. Texas law.
Texas law. I have 6 tests. I have 3 tests that I passed. When I get off with you, I have a 4th test to take. And then I'll have 2 left after that. So my focus is just getting my license so that I can get ready for 2022. It's going to be popping.
That's awesome. So listen, I'm going to ask you on the podcast. That way I can get a good answer. Okay. I'd like to follow your journey from you starting. So right now, this is the episode of you starting in Texas. And I'd like to also periodically drop in and talk to you to see how things are going. So we can see that what you learned and your experience in California, how you were able to use it in Texas to continue to grow. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Got a deal?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Got a deal. That's amazing. Himmy, Miko, yes. Whatever you want me to call you, I call you. Listen, this has been impactful. I've learned a lot from it, especially the open house play. You dropped a lot of great information. For anyone who wants to get more information on you, would like to reach out to you and get a session, how can they reach you?
Social media, you can DM me. If I don't get back to you, one of my assistants will definitely get back to you. You can Himiko at Himiko Sadiki. That's a whole lot to spell, but you can Google me. I'm out there. I'm easy to find, actually. So Facebook, Instagram, you can find me.
Awesome. This has been a great episode. This is Kevin Jefferson, your host of the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast. Have a great day.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for watching the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast with Kevin Jefferson. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when the latest video drops.